Hello again, Siridav here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the 10 warp barrels in Donkey Kong Country 2 to skip to World 3 without too much effort. If you stick around until the end, I'll also be making the case that there used to be an 11th warp barrel, and maybe Rare initially planned to put a warp barrel in every level. Your mileage may vary on that, but stay tuned. So what's so special about warp barrels? Well, if you start a new save file from scratch, you'll end up playing for at least half an hour before you get to some of the really interesting later levels. Presumably, Rare understood that veteran players would appreciate being able to jump straight into the action, because they hid warp barrels at the start of every level in the first two worlds, to allow those players who had discovered the secret to skip those worlds and cut right to the chase. So let's get to it, starting with the first level of the game, Pirate Panic. So typically these warp barrels are either hidden in slightly difficult to get reach places, or they're off screen, like this one here. So this one you just team throw up into. They will take you to a banana laden secret room, which you can then exit to reach the end of the level. And yeah, that's the case for all of the warp barrels and warp barrel rooms. So that's the first level out of the way, 9 to go. Going to move on to Main Brace Mayhem. The trick with this one is that the warp barrel itself, although it's invisible, it's in line with the mast, or it's in line with the middle of the mast there. And we've got our banana room, and just like before, we're right next to the flag, and we're just going to jump straight down and get ourselves another extra life balloon. So it seems to be the case, at least with these first three levels, that they split you off right by the end, and with just the right timing, so that you can get an extra life balloon, which is really nice. Just gives you a little bit more of a head start. So the same thing again here. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be out of World 1 in no time at all. Lockjaws Locker. This one's a little bit strange in that if you don't go for it straight away, it can be difficult to come back for it and try to throw up into it. And I think that might be something to do with the camera position. So you either want to go for it straight away, or if you don't, you need to wait for the water to rise, and then just swim to where the barrel is. So maybe I'll show that off as well. We'll jump back in, and I'm going to ignore the warp barrel initially. I'm going to go past, and then I'm going to remember that I actually wanted to go for the warp barrel. I'm going to try and jump into it, and it's having none of it. It's still in the same place, but the water's risen up a little bit, and it looks like for whatever reason that stopped it stopped the warp barrel from materializing. So what I need to do is I need to wait for the water to rise up completely, and then I can go for the warp barrel. So I'm not sure why that's the case. There's another one in the second world that's also a little bit finicky. But yeah, whether or not they spawn sometimes seems to be determined by the camera position, and in this particular case the camera position is determined by the level of the water, at least in part. So last but not least, in World 1 we've got Topsail Trouble. Oh, last but not least, in World 1 we've got Topsail Trouble, which is just in the bottom right hand corner of the level there. And there we go. So that's World 1 done. If you actually were starting a new game from scratch, you'd have to take on the boss of World 1 as well, so you'd have to take on Crow. But what we're going to do is we're just going to skip ahead. We're going to use Funky to go on to World 2, and then I can show you some of the World 2 warp barrels as well. So here's Crocodile Cauldron, World 2, Hot Head Hop. Let's go straight to it. So this is 2 secrets for the price of 1. We've got a dark coloured chest up here that contains a double life balloon, but also if we jump and throw, that's where the warp barrel is hidden. Okay, and on to Canons Claim. So we've got a couple of options with this one. I'm going to show you just the regular way to get to it first. So we're going to jump up here. We're going to throw a TNT into this guy. And then the warp barrel is invisible at the moment, but it's right where the bucket is underneath Dixie. So we're going to roll and jump into it. So that's probably the expected way of accessing that warp barrel. It's just to roll off the platform and then jump. But when we're going through the game, when we're speedrunning through the game, there's another way to access it. It's a little bit unreliable, but we'll give it a go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw Diddy, and then I'm going to jump. No, I'm not. Okay, well, we give it a go. We'll give it one more go. What we're trying to do is we're trying to double jump and then reach the warp barrel from underneath. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to pull off. So we'll try it one more time. Throw, jump, jump, throw. So you see you can get the warp barrel that way. But again, we've got an issue with the camera position where if it's not exactly right, the warp barrel isn't going to spawn. Which means we've got to get a good height on that throw. That's better. There it is. So that's what you're going for if you're speedrunning through the game. If you're trying to go through it really quickly, you want to try and get that warp barrel from underneath rather than going all the way around. But as you can see, it's easier said than done. So that's that warp barrel out of the way. Now Lava Lagoon. Lava Lagoon, nice and straightforward. What we're going to do is we're on this platform here, we're going to jump and throw, and it's right up out of the way there. We've got two more to do. First of all is Red Hot Ride. So with this one, we've got this this little sort of bit of rising steam here, and what we're going to do is we're going to jump and throw from it, and that's where the warp barrel is hidden. And last but not least, Squawks Shaft. So this one we're going to go underneath, and it's just in the bottom right hand corner of the level. So you can see we've managed to get from the start of the game to the end of World 2 in not much time at all, just through the power of warp barrels. And like I said, in a real world playthrough, so if we were playing through from scratch, we would have had to fight the bosses of the first two worlds as well. But they're hardly the most challenging in the game. And so we've quickly jumped ahead to the third world, which premieres some fantastic level themes such as brambles, swamp, and ice in the Lost World anyway. And the great music that comes along with those themes. And of course, who could forget Rattle Battle? But there's one more thing I wanted to show you before signing off. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump along to Funky Kong, and we're going to get to World 3. And in this third world, there's evidence that Ray was at least considering adding a bunch more warp barrels to the game, starting with this first level, Barrel Bayou. So we're going to take a look at this mysterious 11th warp barrel. It's not too far away at the start. So what we've got to do is just get over here, into this, and now I want you to listen out. One. So I'm getting shot back down by a barrel, and according to Donkey Kong Wiki, fans that have taken the game apart have discovered that the off-screen barrel here is actually a disabled warp barrel. So the implications of this are really interesting, and it looks like Ray might have been considering adding even more warp barrels to the game, maybe throughout World 3, or maybe even throughout the rest of the game. Or an alternative conclusion is that Barrel Bayou may have taken place earlier in the game at some points. So maybe in development it was in World 1 or World 2, but things changed as time went on. But whatever the case, in the end, the decision was made to place warp barrels only in the first 10 levels of the game. And to me that feels about right, because it's enough to give yourself a bit of a head start if you know what you're doing. That's about it for me. I'm still working on my 102% playthrough of this game, so expect to see part 3 soon, and I'll pop links in the description for the other parts. See you again soon. Bye.